tab. The first is the system settings, a secret word that has been created with the installation. There's nothing to change there. The path to the log folder, Joomla should have detected that automatically, and that's also a folder that needs to be writable, as we've seen in a previous tutorial, how to set the permissions for folders. Enable web services. Should you use all kinds of third-party components or extensions, they might make use of certain transport mediums like XML. Then you might want to set this on yes. I prefer to have it on yes, so I will click that and will apply my settings. And as you can see, when you apply, you get sent back to the first tab, so I'll click on the System tab again. The next one is User Settings. A very important one. Do you want to allow user registration, yes or no? So if I go to my website and click on the home page, as you can see at the left bottom, I have a login form, and here I have the possibility to create an account. Should you just want to manually add your users through the user manager, and you don't want users to be able to register, just clicking on no, apply your settings, and when I refresh my front page, you will now see that the login form is still there, but it only shows forgot password or forgot your username, but there's no create an account anymore. So that is if you do not want user registration. The new user registration type, by default it's on registered, but it could be that you want every user to become a certain author. That's possible. I would suggest to leave it on register. New user account activation. You don't want all kinds of spam bots to register on your website and have fake accounts. So what you can do is set the new user activation on yes. That means if somebody registers and fills in his or her information, he's not completely done yet. They will receive an email with a confirmation link in that, and by clicking that, only then they will become a new user. Front-end user parameters, that is how to say, they can select their front-end language and their editors, etc. You can have that on no or on yes. Debug system. Should you have all kinds of how to say complicated things running on your Joomla website and something is not really running properly, you can set your debug system on yes, and I will show you what that will offer you. Your pages become terribly long, but it will show everything that is done. It will show all kinds of database calls and where it calls from, what it calls. So if you're a web developer and you really want to know what's going on, you can use the debug system. Again, a debug system is not for running a live website, it is to debug. So we go back to the System tab again. I will put that on no. And you can set the how to say, the Joomla file languages to be shown in the debug, yes or no. Cache can be very important if you have a large Joomla website. You might want to consider to set the cache caching on yes. Um, it will speed up the pages a bit. I mean, if somebody already uh, is going to your website and a second visitor would come on your website, Joomla has put the files that the first visitor was looking at, it will have put them in a cache, and the second visitor will be offered the pages a lot quicker. And you can set the time it will cache and the cache handler, and that's only one possibility, that's the file. The session lifetime. We are now logged into the backend, and should we not do anything for 15 minutes, we will be logged out automatically, and that is the session lifetime. Um, so if you're, for instance, creating articles and you take breaks now and then, but you still want to continue writing without losing any data, you might want to change that in 30 or 45 minutes. That will make your session longer and having lesser chances on being logged out automatically. So might be convenient to put that on a bit longer than 15 minutes. So I will put it on 30 minutes. Also the session handler, you can say none. I would not do that, or database. I would prefer database. I will apply my settings. A very important one is the media settings. I've kept that for the last one in this system tab. Media settings, legal extensions. As you can see, there are all kinds of familiar looking extensions there. Should you encounter that a certain extension is not being accepted by your media settings, you can add that in here. As you can see, there's SWF, there's PowerPoint, there's PNG, there's PDF. Should yours not be accepted, you can put that in. Maximum size, I would say that the size here is sufficient. The path to the media folder, as we've seen when we go to the media manager, I got locked out by my session. If we go back to the media manager, you can see that I get into the folder media, but as I already explained in the previous tutorial, for images to be available on pages, it needs to be on stories. If you find this way of working inconvenient, in the global configuration, you could set the media folder to be stories immediately and save your settings. And if I then go to my media manager, you will see that the media, even though it's called media, here we can see which real folder we are at, images, stories. You can change your folders and settings, etc., and this way it will go to the correct folder immediately. Not a must, but it's easy to forget that the media folder is not the real images stories folder, and to avoid any mistakes in that, you could do it like this. Path to the image folder, as you can see, you can change that as well. Restrict uploads. This means that everybody lower than the manager can not upload files. Check the MIME type. Has to do with the legal MIME types you can see at the bottom. You can set the checking on yes or no. Legal image extensions, those that are allowed to upload. If you want to allow, for instance, uploading Flash, those are not in here yet, so you could use SWF and FLA, for instance, and add those. SWF, FLA. Ignored extensions. For instance, you don't want RAR files in there. The legal MIME types, I would leave them as they are. Most of the commonly used ones are there. Illegal MIME types, you don't want text or HTML files to be uploaded. And a very important one, enable Flash Uploader. Since the Flash 10 plugin, the uploader has become quite problematic. I would suggest to have enable Flash Uploader on no. Should you have it on yes and encounter problems with uploading, go to this setting and put it on no.